Make sure Carl is included.
Amen.
We have a quorum. Shall we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The only signature required is yours now,
Oh.
2 places.
Alrighty. I can do that. Thank you. And do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I move that we accept as presented.
And second that motion.
All in favor? Is that, thank you, Carly. Let's see, for announcements, I want to let everybody know that candidates night has been set for October 24th at 6 o'clock at the fire hall. This is going to be a little different format because we're going to begin at 6 with a meet and greet to meet our new town administrator. We're going to have coffee and dessert. And then about 6:30 we'll begin the formal program with the elected candidates. The next Board of Selectmen meeting will be, it's not October 1st, it'll be October 22nd, I'm sorry. 22nd at 5:30 in the West Bathroom office. Citizens' comments. Committee department work group reports. Yes.
We may get the energy audit for electricity report this week
For all of the buildings or?
for all the buildings. I was told last Friday it's just about done, we hope to have it done this week.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
The audit report.
Sure.
I used to be in the business.
Well, I will forward it to the, to town office and
We can,
Yeah.
Caroline, maybe you get a copy from Caroline?
or we can post it.
Yeah, just let me know when we're there.
Oh, good, glad to hear that, Steve. This is just for electricity, it's not, furnaces or insulation of buildings.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I used to do all
Okay.
the power stuff, is lighting, all that.
Good.
Exactly.
Also under committees, I would like to note that library committee's meeting this Wednesday, and then next selectmen's meeting, they're intending to present their findings.
Good.
Very
They're
efficient.
done already?
Very efficient.
They have been very diligent.
They've been meeting weekly. They've been on.
Hmm.
It'd be interesting to see what their recommendation's gonna be.
Yes. It will indeed. Look forward to it.
What's has been the general tenor around, why was there a committee formed?
Well, you know how once or twice a year I get into it with the town, at town meeting about the library?
So I've heard,
Well, we have another party who brought it up this year. I wasn't going to say anything. So I figure with the amount of uncertainty out there, the amount of people who think that, we pay too much for the library has apparently doubled since last year in town. So I figured we'd get a committee to objectively look at the pluses and minuses of free library specifically, and then look into other alternative arrangements
with them or with?
with them and any other library that, so we'll see what they come up with.
Well, is
He's
it
really
big- is
trying
it-
to get some numbers too, of how many
Yeah.
citizens really use the library.
Well,
really use the library.
As a big library user, I don't buy books anymore, I go get stuff from interlibrary loan. I think they do a good job, you know. I don't know what we pay, I can't remember what we pay for it, so I don't
33.
know.
33 something.
33,000, a lot of money. A lot of money.
The idea was to find out for the money that we pay, what would be the best use of that money for the number of people who want to use the library. And we were not secure in that we were getting the accurate information from the library about usage. And there were some other questions that come up during the budget process.
So we might be able to restructure our agreement with them so that.
Well, that's a whole nother ball of wax,
Mhm.
because they're not they're a private library.
Yeah, they are.
They got a board of directors, and they have, bylaws, and it's apparent they're not willing to, change their bylaws, so, the way it's written is whatever the agreement they work out per capita with Bath for the particular year, all the other, towns must either pay that amount per capita or they're out. And several years ago, Pittsburgh elected to go out to say no. They offered them what they paid the previous year,
Mhm.
or this year. They offered them for next year the same amount, and Patent Free Library said no.
Hmm.
And so Pittsburgh gave them the boot.
What does Pittsburgh do now? for
They
the
have their
library?
own little library.
They have their own library.
Yeah.
They always had a library.
The option is even if the town of West Bath didn't subscribe to the library as a community, you can purchase your own card. And I, for one, have been saying that that's not acceptable because that would be prohibitive for some families who are on
Mhm.
the lower end of the income scale. And I'm a firm believer in public libraries.
Mhm.
So there's the discussion.
I question their, users, card users. They'll, report, financials on, per 1 year span,
Mm.
but they'll report, users, 2-year chunk to kind of build it up a little bit.
Mm.
And, they won't, we finally over the years have got them to release that number. Previously, they wouldn't even release that number, but we wanna know how many people from West Bath actually use their card,
Right,
and they won't give that out.
that would,
They absolutely refuse.
that would be the useful number.
Well, yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it looks to me like they count virtually everything. I mean everything. People coming in for they rent the facility out for coffees and teas and that kind of stuff privately. I think they count all that stuff.
Mhm.
They claim almost 200,000 visits in a year.
Mhm.
And that's like fourth busiest in the entire state, and that's Portland Public Library, Bangor, Augusta, Curtis, and then in there somewhere is Patent Free Library. It wasn't even open 5 days a week, they're open 4.5. You know, I just,
Yes, there will be an interesting discussion on the 22nd.
Thanks for fleshing that out a
And
bit.
the one other thing we may find out is that we are getting our money's worth, but it would be good to know rather than just assume
Mm.
that our
Yeah.
money's going and that it is
Yeah,
covering the number of individuals that they state. Then when people ask, we can have good
Exactly,
information rather
yeah.
than just saying,
and I will support whatever the public wants,
well, especially since the price goes up every year.
right.
I mean, by
never fail.
quite a lot, right? It's not just 2
Well,
or
they-
3%.
It was a few,
No,
few hundred thousand, like $700 this year, something, wasn't
Yeah,
much.
they've been holding the line at 3% every year.
2 to 3%.
They were, 10 years ago, they were all over the place. One year they wouldn't go up at all, the next year they'd go up 10%. One year they doubled the budget, you know, doubled it. Went from like 12 to 24.
Hmm.
And the public just, nothing we can do. It's okay, okay.
Okay. Moving on, business, item number 1, the announcement of town administrator selection and ceremonial signing of the contract. I am pleased to announce that after reviewing 20 resumes and interviewing in person 2 other candidates, we have offered employment to Christine Poland, who is here with us this evening. Christine is the former town administrator of the town of Bristol, and so she's familiar with some of the issues facing small coastal communities. When we read her resume initially, we were impressed with 14 years' experience in municipal government, as well as the notation on her resume that she was the recipient of the 2007 Spirit of America Foundation Award, having been nominated by the Bristol Board of Selectmen. In the interview process, we were impressed by her direct answers to our questions. And the last question in the interview was, what questions do you have of us? And the questions revealed that she had spent some time actually reading the town website and delving into what was happening in town. So clear answers and good questions. She also had a very calm demeanor, which we all liked. Her references then stated that she was very interested in problem solving and in problem solving with working within the budgetary constraints imposed by town meetings. So all those things were to the good, and Christine is here with us. She has reviewed the employment contract, as have we, and if you'd like to sign, we'd love it. Okay.
Sure.
I have a clean copy. Your lucky pen. Well, we didn't think about penmanship tests. Look at that.
Thank you so much, I can't wait to get started.
I'm glad to have
It's gonna be tough to wait.
Well, you should sit over here now.
Yeah,
That's where
That's where Adam
the
sat.
administrator always sits, so.
Mhm. I got big shoes to fill, I know he was well liked.
Right.
At least you want a good firm to do it.
Carly.
It's another long one.
I'm sorry, you got this.
I got it all figured out.
Let's see, when, we can make copies and send them on to you?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Want me to run up and do that?
Oh, sure.
Make coffee?
Well, we discussed the appointments. We have 3 appointments that need to be addressed this evening. Bob Weir, his term is up on the investment committee. Richard Davis has offered to assume the role of health officer, and Mr. Carl Turner has accepted a job with the cemetery committee. And when Peter gets back, we can appoint these folks. People on YouTube will have to fast forward.
Now, Bob's is gonna be for 3 years now, to keep us
Yes.
staggered.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was my question, the email.
Yeah.
Making sure. When will mine for the next meeting get on the agenda, for what I just signed to the old time?
Those were already appointed, that was with the annual appointments in January.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
You're already sworn in, so you
Yes.
don't, you don't have to
That's post-appointment,
re-sign.
the
Yeah,
post-appointment that we're
okay.
taking.
Right.
So I'll just keep signing away.
But that's just a 1 year, because that should all be tied up by next year.
You will. Well,
One
Just
year.
keep going.
Yeah, it's
Keep
rotating.
appointing it every year.
yeah, it's only
Isn't that coming from
I
one?
don't know, we
Thanks,
got,
Peter.
what is it, 14 more years to go, or something like that.
We were just,
Well, let's put it this way, I can have
dealing
this
with
5
the
years.
appointments of
Part
Bob
this
Weir,
is
West
two
Bath
years
Investment
forward, so
Committee,
we're at 7
Richard
or 8
Davis,
years
Health
now,
Officer,
20.
and Carl Turner for the cemetery committee. And so we should have a motion. And I've got those to sign if we've got those. Do we want to approve them?
Sure.
I'm glad. Are we all in favor?
I'm in favor.
All in favor. All right, we got these. Wonderful.
Carl, how many people on the cemetery committee now?
Well, there were 3, but I don't believe the chair's other half, Nick Randall, really wanted to serve, so Carl was taking the place of Nick Randall.
Okay, so 3.
So 3.
Well, that's good.
Nice little group.
And Rick Davis is health officer, that could work out to be a good thing. He's already a fireman and
Yeah,
EMT.
he's an EMT, it's a good fit.
Highly qualified for that position. The next item on the agenda is the report from and the recommendations of the investment committee. Mr. Kalish.
Okay, so, as you know, at our meeting, the minutes before, so, we have a rollover of 100,000, and then 50,000 that was approved for transfer from whatever the general fund into the investment funds at town meeting. That was one of the warrant items. So we're proposing to invest $150,000, and to kind of keep our cycle and potential liquidity. Our first choice for 15 months, which will make it mature on January 10th, 2020, is DNB First NA at 2.55%. We have the investment codes and all. Our second choice for 12 months, which will make it mature on October 3rd of 2019, is TCF National Bank.
2.45.
2.45%, we have the codes. You want to say anything more about the banks, who they are exactly?
Well, the top choice is a bank in Philadelphia. It's about $1 billion bank. It deals in southwest Philadelphia, in the suburbs, Chester and Delaware County. And it's a very strong bank. They have almost no impaired loans at all. And then the second choice, TCF National, is Twin Cities Financial in Minnesota and surrounding states. It's a $24 billion bank, and just seemed strong.
Okay,
So, anyway,
So-
that's the recommendation.
normally, in the
Oh,
course of recommendations and all, the town administrator has made, the calls to the bank. But our town administrator is not in place as yet. So who is authorized to do that? We should note that, make the call to the bank.
I can send him an email, which
Okay,
is what I think Adam may have done. I can call,
Yeah.
send an email, call him, and copy you two, because I get town administrator and Carly, so you'll see it. And I don't know how the money gets moved during, because the issue is he's got, in the money market, he has the actually it's like 108,000. So you move, it's the 50,000 will become the question that whether you folks do a wire transfer or, because that's probably the only way to do it tomorrow, to make the placement tomorrow, is
right,
whoever has authority to wire transfer from Androscoggin to the trust. Because it's not interbank, because they're a separate corporation or LLC outside Androscoggin, even though they're partially owned by Androscoggin. So it's not an internal transfer, so we'll have to get Androscoggin to do a wire transfer to the trust account so that all 150 could be placed tomorrow.
okay.
So I'll call, what's his name, Jim? I forget. Jim. I'll call him first thing in the morning and send him an email stating these are the two choices.
Okay,
And then when I talk to him, I'll ask him, okay, you've got 108, we're doing the 100, but we also have additional 50 we want to place. How do we do it? Is it a wire transfer or what?
okay,
If it's a wire transfer, it's pretty simple. He'll have Androscoggin send you the town instructions, because basically it's the information for the wire. And then whoever has signature authority with the bank for the town will have to sign it. Or if they know who you are, they'll do a verbal over the phone. You do email the paperwork, and then they'll take an oral.
You
Yeah,
have-
it's
you
just-
have- you have-
Julie and me are the ones.
It depends, you know? See, my bank, they know me, I wire money by verbal command sometimes, but never big amounts, but anyway. The bank will give you the information. There'll be a form to fill out,
Okay,
and I'm sure they do this all the time, because it's their entity.
right,
It's not that big a deal, but you'll need the paperwork for the trail to keep the auditor
Right.
happy.
right.
Yep.
We want a happy auditor.
We want a happy auditor.
That does bring up another discussion for another time, that one of the things that we have discovered in this interim period is that on a day-to-day basis, there probably should be somebody in the town office who is authorized to do money stuff. And we probably should settle that out at some point in the near future.
Yeah, you shouldn't have it all in one person. I mean, like, with the entities I manage, I have one of them, the senior managing partner, and I have signature and wire authority for all the entities. Usually I do it, but I'm on vacation or out sick and
Right.
something's gotta get done,
Right,
he does it.
right.
You know,
So-
I was gone Friday and he took care of some bank business on Friday, in my absence, so.
Yeah. There are a number of things that have come to my attention, having some time in the town office on a regular basis these days, and that's one of them, along with, the administrator's office doesn't even have a coat rack. Come on. We need a coat rack. Little things like that make life more bearable day to day. What do you do with your wet rain jacket? So, I'll be bringing some human interest recommendations.
I'm surprised the auditor didn't say something about the coat rack, yes, big investment. No, but about signature authority
Yeah,
with the banks, to be so restricted, to have one person who does everything.
Yeah,
Because I mean, it could be where you have, say, the chair of the select board, the town administrator, but then also what's their title?
the treasurer,
The treasurer, but you can have, with a bank, you can have multiple levels of authority for moving money or signing off things.
Right.
And have limits on the amount.
right, and we should set
So-
that up. I'm sure that's why you're on as the signatory, because you would have been the chair
Yeah, I was the chair,
at the
yeah.
time, so.
And I'm sure Adam was on there, because he was the town administrator.
Right, handling those things, and Julia,
He was on
obviously,
as the deputy treasurer.
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever, yeah.
yeah,
Which
So-
is better, but you've gotta keep it clean
right,
with the bank.
yes.
And like I said, auditors should be asking that question.
Well,
I'm saying this
It was-
because I'm going through an audit right now.
it's under other, but
Yeah.
other is,
Yeah,
the audit, our annual audit is happening this week.
Well, I
so-
think last time you
Yeah.
audited, which would be last year, everything on the signature end of it was fine. Now
yeah.
it needs to be adjusted.
That's just, I go through this every year because one of my entities are co-owners, the city of Portland, and they require an outside audit. And today and tomorrow is the outside audit on site. So I get the 5,000 questions of, did anything change on the following items? Blah, 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 blah. And you're right, you got the signature thing has changed.
Right, so we'll have to update
But there's a
all
whole
that.
bunch of stuff you can do with that.
And at the top of our list, our needs list is a coat rack.
A coat rack.
We're in pretty good shape.
Is that gonna be a warning?
And a
Absolutely.
cave dispenser for the workbook
Ripped it
box
out
near
of
the,
bed.
near the copier. Okay.
So we need a motion.
So we need a motion to accept the recommendations and to ask Steve to,
Make a phone
To
call
make-
and email.
right, to find the pertinent information.
Okay, I move that Steve Kalish be asked to send an email to the appropriate people and make appropriate calls tomorrow morning regarding disposition of $150,000 into the investment account, part of it a rollover, part of it new money.
That should do it.
I'll second the motion.
And to accept their number one recommendation, which is the Philadelphia Bank.
Okay.
Okay,
All
second.
right, so I'll call Jim, first thing in the morning, and then, follow up with an email, and then talking with him, I'll find out about how we move the other 50,000, probably a wire.
Yeah.
And then, I'll call and let Carla know,
Okay, that sounds
and
good.
then, because he'll email the paperwork or whatever it is, so.
Yeah, as long as there's a trigger.
Great, 'cause I'll just pass you, again, the committee, we don't sign anything,
Right.
you guys do, so.
Right.
I'll gladly talk to Jim and
Thank you.
get the instructions for the placement done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any further
Thank you,
discussion?
folks.
Thank you very much.
No further discussion, then all in favor of accepting the recommendations and proceeding as planned? Okay. Oh, the next, item on the agenda is, last week when Steve was in, he made some, requests about some follow-up work on, Mountain Road and on the Sanford Crossing Road. The follow-up work apparently is quite a bit more expensive than the initial patching that was done. I put the purchase policy before, in your packets before that, because the issue that I see is that, the estimates for these follow-up jobs are higher than our purchasing policy would call for. If you look at section 11 on page 5, the pertinent section, I think, is B. And these estimates are over the $10,000, and we have written price quotes. But then if we look at section 4, letter D, purchases in the amount of $20,000 or more must be made using a sealed bid solicitation process. And all we have is a written price quote.
Well, these are a collection of projects, several projects, not one project, correct?
I think the Mountain Road may be, I think, Sanford Crossing, I think, is one.
Okay. Now, if it's multiple jobs, couldn't Steve present these estimated costs individually?
Doesn't the board have the authority to waive the bid process?
I don't think so.
I thought you were given that.
We do for,
Emergencies.
No, I thought you were
We
given that
have-
authority.
we can waive purchases for less, on public works for less than 5, and from 5 to 10, we would need a written price quote. And these at 27,
It says in the event of an emergency.
Well, yeah, the problem being right now that I would see is that this is October,
right,
kind of putting out bids.
Well, unfortunately, it goes on further to say during which immediate threats to life and property.
yeah, I think we missed the window.
I do too. We've had all summer to do this.
Well, I believe traditionally hot pot plant closes around Thanksgiving. So I would say maybe you can talk to a road commissioner, see how much time you're gonna need to put a bid package together, and see if you can get it put out.
I think that's a good idea, David, thank you. Is that acceptable?
That's acceptable, absolutely.
Both
And-
of these say the same road on mine, did they say the same road on yours?
Sanford Crossing, yeah, that's in there twice.
I got Mountain.
Oh, I'm sorry. I messed up as I sorted this out. You have 2 Sanford crossings?
If there's any way Steve can submit individual bids for individual
This
segments
is the
of
one for Sanford.
the bid, he should look into that as well. To get the total price down below the bid threshold.
At the risk of muddying the waters.
Yes.
We got a phone call at the town office last week from residents complaining that Sanford Crossing Road was closed.
for paving, and it would appear that Crooker went ahead and paved it without notifying the road commissioner. I remember Steve saying at the last meeting that they were holding a spot, so I don't know if they were trying to keep it in the rotation.
Well, that is an interesting thing.
But they didn't do the other road, they just did
We've
the
made the
one.
road commissioner aware of the situation.
And what did he have to add to the discussion?
I did not have the conversation with him personally.
So did they do just the one road or both?
As far as I know, it was only Sanford Crossing, that's the only road I've gotten complaints on.
Well,
I'm
maybe
sure
Mountain
we-
Road was pleased to have it paved,
Exactly, they're like, just keep your mouth closed and just let them pave it.
maybe with the ride
We'll
down
be stuck.
Mountain Road.
We'll be stuck inside all day,
Oh,
but
maybe we don't have to,
Sanford
Yeah,
Crossing's the only
big
road with
bad
no places to be.
Well, that would certainly be interesting.
remember when they paved the
So-
parking lot up there?
Yes.
Well, that certainly bears looking into. See if I can chat with Steve tomorrow.
I'd ride down the Mountain Road.
Welcome.
Yeah, right after I've ridden. Well, I think maybe I'll do a tour of Sanford Crossing and Mountain Road.
Just to make sure.
It's been a busy day,
No.
I should have brought that up sooner, but
Bet you there was no complaints from Sanford Crossing Road.
there were complaints, people had places to be, they did not want to be in their house. And one person actually demanded that we stop paving. I gave the road commissioner's telephone number.
Well, that's
That's
good.
why, that's the correct way to handle it.
Thank you.
That is.
Well, stay tuned for further reports. I think we'll have further discussion of this or mention at any rate on the 22nd of October. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so, I'll chat with Steve and see where we are. I'll take a ride around town and, we'll go from there. Carly, could you speak to Modern Pest Services?
Modern Pest has informed us that they do not offer quarterly services to businesses. They did offer to lower our rate And-
monthly, right?
and advised the treasurer that if that was unacceptable, to call back and discuss further.
What, it's
From
They-
75 to 62.
75 to
So
$62.
$10 a month off.
So our objection, or the reason why we're talking about this is mainly about the cost. The service is
Well, we
okay.
thought the service was unnecessary,
Mhm.
but Catherine brought up the good point
What are you
with
paying a
the
month?
recent influx in squirrels that might cause us to pause before canceling it altogether.
75.
75?
Is it $75 a month or
Yeah,
seven?
now it's 62.
And
I thought it might be 77.
under 80, and they're offering to lower it to 62. I
Yeah.
feel we should definitely take them up on that one.
One of my small buildings, I pay them $80 chasing mice and rats and stuff, because we got restaurants next door and they're getting driven out of them and they come into us, or try to get into my building.
Actually, there has been a huge increase in mice this year too, so.
Yeah. Squirrels the bigger problem.
The snakes eat those, can
I think it's
You're
fair
in
to
the
say.
bathroom with snakes.
they? Don't say it too loud, they never will tell me. Don't tell her about the snakes.
There's a picture.
There's just
It has been a banner year for rodents, apparently.
Yes.
So we may,
I really appreciate you wanting to save money. I just would hate to see you have,
Mice back
Yeah.
in
more creatures.
so I really do appreciate.
No,
you
ju-
looking
yeah.
into it.
And we talked about this last week and now this week. Part of my hesitation to disturb the arrangement at all is remembering when we first initiated getting them over here, all the drama, all the ants, and all of this and all of that. And they kept having to come back. Do we want to go through that again?
It's also, you get a question of you get mice or per se a rat or a squirrel in here, if they chew up the wrong wire in the wall or this computer, it could cause more problems.
Could cause a fire,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
My
know,
thought process was that it wasn't a
Yeah.
1930s farmhouse, but I didn't know anything about the ants,
And,
so.
and as long as we're paying them something for service, if we have a problem, we can just pick up the phone
Yeah,
and get them over here.
Yeah,
Whereas,
and they do come and check.
yeah,
And then-
whereas if we're not a regular rotating customer, we get on the phone and we have to wait. It's kind of like
Yeah.
cable TV, you know.
no, I think.
I mean, you can't do anything, cause as a quote, commercial business, you can't run over to Rocky/Rogers and get something, you know, like a mousetrap and put it down, that's
No,
not
you can't.
legal.
No, you can't.
You can't do any of that. You can do it in your own home, but you can't do it on a commercial property. You know, 'cause I have people all the time say, oh, let's just, you know, go to the hardware store and get this and spray this. Says, state law, federal law says, no, you can't do it, you have to be a licensed applicator. You know, and Peter says, right, you're on the hook, so they're on the hook too. And it's not a huge amount.
No.
But as he said, the squirrel, I just had a squirrel got fried and lost a phase out of three-phase power. Cost me $6,000–7,000 to fix 2 pumps, and my Subway store lost $4,000 worth of computer equipment.
So it's not.
That was still backed up, but it still got fried.
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep them on test. Seems like a no-brainer after all that. My other was that this is the week for the audit, for the annual audit, and so both the school and we are up for audit this week.
So should I make myself available for, the annual lecture from, lowering the tax rate?
If you wish to make yourself available, I will be in the office to take the lecture on Wednesday or Friday,
she's the
depending on.
chair now, she gets the lecture.
Well, no, Mr. Brewer knows where to go. I'll take one for the team again.
It's so generous of you, Peter.
I thought so.
Oh, I think I speak for both of us. We appreciate that.
Well, that was when we talked to him, when we were discussing getting ready for commitment.
Yeah.
The last thing he said to me was, don't even think about lowering that mill rate again.
Yes,
So,
he was quite pointed in that when he was discussing that with me. He said, don't let Peter lower the mill rate.
That's not David.
Well, before Adam
Well,
left, he said,
I
keep
hope-
David out of it.
I held firm, but David, you won. You're the better man.
Hey, it's not, it's a tax unjustified, there we go.
But the only way to keep the mill rate at the rate that the auditor would like it would be to have that as an item on the budgeted item on the town meeting warrant.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
He's gonna have a heart attack.
Mr. Brewer advised against that, and I said that I'd been to property tax school, so I was just, I knew just enough to be really dangerous, so I said I would withdraw that suggestion. Is there any others? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
All in favor?
at 6:20.
All right, good work, people. Did you officially meet the gentleman on the side?
Not officially,